moral of ABC is not especially profound. Jean Louis' three storylines converge to deliver the message of be who you are, resist the urge to assimilate, be proud of your heritage, and stop trying to deny it. What makes this such an enjoyable and effective story for many readers is the way that Yang tells it, using three competing narratives that all wind up converging in exciting and unexpected ways. The stories are deceptively simple, but minor details later take a greater significance in clever ways. How do you feel about this storytelling technique? Did you find it effective or just confusing?
Personally, I found that it was super confusing. I just wanted to start. I found that it was like confusing, the Monkey King story. Like I could understand the other two, but the Monkey King, I was just confused and like what it was about. But then when it like came together in the end, like in hindsight, I was glad it like went that way because I thought like on page 198 when like I finally realized that the stories were coming together when Danny or Jin turned into Danny, it like all started to make sense. So I like once I finished the book, I thought it was good, but like throughout the whole thing, I was confused and I wasn't sure that I liked it.
I thought that it was like really effective to have like three different stories because like the Monkey King, Jin, and Danny were all so different. So it kind of showed that like a lot of different people like aren't like happy with who they are, and then like Jin wanted to be like Danny, but like Danny wasn't even happy with who he was. So just kind of like showed it in like a different way, and then like in the end when they all came back together, it just like showed the meaning that you should just like be who you are.
I thought it was really creative and entertaining, but I thought it could get confusing because at first it was three different stories from three different perspectives, and then at the end it just got like all combined together, and I couldn't tell which perspective I was supposed to read from.
I don't like stories like this because it makes me hate the book until I figure out what's actually going on. It's usually at the end. So it takes the whole book for me to just hate it, and then I like it at the end, kind of.
Yeah, it was really like satisfying at the end when you finally figure out like how all the stories come together. And like one of my favorite parts was on page 225 when Jin's parents are sitting there, and Jin was like, oh, Chin-Ki went home, and then his dad was like, honey, you should call your sister and tell them Chin-Ki's coming home. And then the mom's like, I thought Chin-Ki was like from your side of the family, and that was really funny. But yeah,
I think that the way that this story was told was like really creative and interesting, and that telling stories like this, like that eventually converge this way, was like smart. Although like I was really confused, I know, because like on page 198 when like Jin Wang turns into Danny, the story starts to get really confusing. And I remember like at this point, a lot of us in the class were like really confused on what was going on, like questioning things. But then once it did come together, like Erica said, it was like satisfying knowing everything.
I thought that this story was really interesting because like all of the plots were sort of relatable. Like although we aren't monkeys, obviously, like you can relate to the plot of like trying to be better and like being accepted. And like I haven't had it too much, but like sometimes you just want to be cooler and you like want to, like the Monkey King wanted to wear shoes and like that kind of stuff. And then like in the other stories, like Jin wanted to like get the girl, but he couldn't. And just so I thought it was cool. Like all the stories had like a normal plot kind of, but then like the underlying plot that all came together at the end and the moral of the story.
Why do you guys think the author included such like a fictional story like with the monkeys, but then when she was trying to actually like address a real issue, like, why do you think she did that?
More like an entertainment thing to maybe get you back interested in kind of like the Monkey King, right? Like why they add that
Monkeys. Why are there monkeys?
I feel like
isn't that a real story?
yeah, the Monkey King is like that's like an actual story. I feel like it's more like for entertainment type of purposes, kind of like give a right side to the feeling of kind of like this stereotype type of feeling, I guess.
Yeah, actually that Monkey King story like got me like off track because it's like if it's an actual story, it must be like super like thousands of years ago. Like thinking about Chinese history is like thousands of years of history, and if that's from like the history, then like why is he in the present? And like it's like yeah, I got confused. But why is his son still alive?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
great
Like, why
question.
couldn't he just be a normal guy? Why did he have to be very stereotypical?
The monkey.
I
Maybe
think,
like because he's
I think because like probably it kind of like showed I think in the beginning and like he kind of walked into like the god's palace. Maybe like it kind of like had a symbolism and like along the lines of like maybe like stereotyping you're a monkey and like these are people. I feel like for some reason for me it kind of not like it related to like Asian more or less, but it related kind of like to white and black in a sense. Because I thought like back in the day blacks were also called monkeys. So that's why for me, like that's why I got a little bit confused, is because that's why I kind of jumped back to.
Well, I don't know, but I didn't really like the Monkey King story. It was just like confusing. But like at the end, like on page like 214, and then that's when Jim starts to like change back, and then the Monkey King changed back before that. But like I sort of liked it then, but then I still just the whole thing with it. I don't know. I didn't like it too much.
So I think this Monkey King is kind of confusing because at the beginning they didn't even show that like he had a son, and then how he like become like that, and then also like the time like between the two stories. It's kind of confusing. Also, when Monkey King wants to escape, but he couldn't escape. And those parts that make me like kind of confused.
I thought that the last chapter was kind of just like a bunch of random events that just kept happening. And I feel like it's like one of those, like I don't know if anyone can relate, but sometimes I have dreams and they just keep getting weirder and weirder, and like weirder situations keep happening. And you like can't control it, so then that's what I feel like the last chapter was, and I just wanted to control it, so yeah.
Kind of going along that, like finally on page 212 and 213 when like Chinky's head gets kicked off and we see that it's the Monkey King, I was still like confused how the Monkey King was like going to be tied into it, and then when he started explaining that was his son was Wei Chen or one of them, I still thought it was confusing, but like finally the end when Mr. Fairy like described it to us, I think it all came together, but like that last chapter, so much was going on that I don't know, it was a lot to understand and comprehend.
But how was he that guy's cousin? And then like both the parents were like, I thought he was your nephew or something like that.
because
They
he's
both
a
got-
god, right? I'm like,
Like, how would they just accept this guy and just put him in every year?
I think maybe there's the like the medic some trade. Maybe he made them like
Anything is possible.
Oh, no,
My
you
parents like
would
all the
know.
time, all the time inside.
Don't even know.
Yeah,
I think someone would know who he is.
So Zoyoto knows the god.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this is why it's a fictional book.
do you think he delivered the like message, be who you are, as the story student? His like message, do you think that was successful?
I think it was, and I have one like line that I thought really exemplified it at the end, on page 221, when the Monkey King was like a reminder of who he really was inside, and he said, "You know, Jin, I would have saved myself from 500 years imprisonment beneath a mountain of rock had I only realized how good it is to be a monkey." And I think that's like a really good line to show the moral of the story. Like, just if you accept who you are, a lot of things can come easier to you.
But do you guys think that like when Danny's cousin came to like when Danny's cousin visited to like Danny's house, and then he showed himself like creepy, like stereotypical?
So,
Yeah.
Well, Chinky didn't look like human to me. I mean, like he's like face is like super big and round.
Huge head.
Yeah, and like nobody has that skin color. It's like it was not real.
chocolate all over my phone. I don't know, I'm just looking down, there's like chocolate all over me.
Okay, we have 3 more minutes to talk about
I'll take it.
the book.
What did I even do? I don't know. It's like everywhere.
I'll dunk it up.
Wait, I was actually really confused about when, like, page 220, when Ray-chan just decided to, like, live on his own, and Monkey King decides to just follow Jin. Like, I don't really get why. You guys know?
Well, I was confused that like because isn't White China actually a monkey, and like he didn't want to like be with humans anymore because he like they were mean and stuff, but then he like stayed human form. That's why I was confused.
He said he was gonna use it for his own pleasure, so then like,
Wait, Chin was?
that's what he said.
Oh.
So then he just said he was like gonna go be human and do whatever he wants and like have fun with his 40 years. But I think he doesn't like, so he probably just made himself better.
I think so.
I feel like everything is just kind of confusing. Like we can't really look into it because I think then we just get more confused looking into it.
Why did Monkey King just decide to follow
I know that part's weird that he just all of a sudden like picked like how did he pick Jin out of everyone and like maybe just because he when Wei Chang went down to like be in that school like he saw Jin and Jin was the one that like caused or like he was friends with so he picked like Jin to like follow to then like teach him that lesson
Yeah.
of like
The
being
Monkey King
yourself.
said that like Wei Chen spoke very highly of Jin. So maybe that's why. And it was pretty much good, so.
Yeah.